Hi there, let's get started learning Adobe Photoshop. So first I'm going to take you on a tour of the Adobe Photoshop interface. So basically this is Photoshop, and if you've never opened it up before, but you've opened up other programs like Adobe Illustrator or something, you might think, oh, it looks kind of familiar, and it does look familiar. Adobe tries to keep all their software looking the same. So opening your first file, you go up here, file, open, right here. I just opened it right here. It takes you to this little button, where are you looking? And I'm just going over here to the file, open, file, save. And then you can, save this on your desktop, go into file, save as, and then you're just going to, this is a JPEG file format, and you've got, a PSD file format, which we'll get into a lot of stuff later in terms of naming and such like that. So basically, to save a file, you come up here at the top left. Anyway, so where things are getting around the screen, we have over here what's called the toolbar. If you're familiar at all with Adobe, you know that all their software has a toolbar floating off to the side, and they all look kind of the same, though the tools are different. So whenever you hear me say grab the tool, go to the toolbar, it means, oh yeah, go to the left side of the screen and grab this. If you're a left-handed person, a lot of people who are lefties will make a workspace where it's on the right side of the screen. So that is available to you also. So up at the top of your screen, you have what's called the menu items. Up here where you see the words file, edit, image, layer, this is called the menu. So if you ever hear me say, go to the filter menu, your brain should go, oh yeah, menu, filter, look for the word filter. So there's the filter menu. Go to the window menu, you go up here to the word window and you click it, and all this other stuff comes. So learning Photoshop is a pretty long process because there are dozens and dozens of little menus and little controls. And then inside of these are like more little controls and menus on top of submenus. So my goal will be to get you guys familiar with all of these different things at once. So don't worry if it feels, slightly overwhelming to begin with. Let's see. So menu items are up at the top. And over to the right, you have what's called floating art tool palettes. They usually live on the right side of the screen. You'll notice I don't have any at the moment. So actually I do. Here we go. I have a brush setting menu. So mine is going to look a little out of kilt because I've been using it all day. So window, workspace, and I'm just going to click reset. And I'm in a work mode called photography, which is set up for that. And let's see, window, workspace. You guys might be set to essentials if you're just logging in for the first time. Mine is kind of messy because I moved everything over. So if you ever like log in and things are not where they're supposed to be, you go to workspace and you go to reset. So I'm just going to click reset. It's the equivalent of having a robot clean up your desk if your desk is messy. You guys will also notice over here, I always turn this off. There's a learning tab now, which if you're super dedicated to Photoshop and you have extra time, you can go through Adobe's own little tab and like watch all these funny little videos that they have. I'm going to turn that off because I don't need it. But what you have here, you have a library tab, you have a properties tab. You'll notice mine are stuck together. So floating art palettes function like so that you can control what you need, like layers, for instance. I'm going to click it, drag it, and I just tore it away. So it works like you can close stuff, or you can just click this little tiny arrow and minimize things, and then it turns into these little icons, which you can stick together, and so on and so forth. So you can kind of just see how I'm just kind of grabbing stuff and moving it around my screen. So you have the ability to kind of do that as well. And when we hang up our video call, I urge you guys to just kind of get in here and mess around with these little tabs, like move them around and set them how you want them. Again, if I don't want something, I just click this arrow, it turns into an icon, and I add it to these little icons. So the layouts are basically completely customizable, and you'll figure out the way you like to work. So just kind of moving this, and you'll notice like if I click the X button, it just closes completely and it's gone. So stuff will kind of reopen based on what you're doing. So if I just kind of do that, now it's a little icon. So this is basically just a way you can organize your workspace is all I'm telling you. If you don't want something showing up, I'm just going to hit the X. It's gone. Oh, I just got rid of everything. Whoops, everything's gone. So if you do that and you're kind of wondering, oh, I lost all my windows. Let's see. Just go up here, window, workspace, click reset right here. There you go. Now it's back to the default. Okay. So this is how you can kind of control stuff. And then depending on what you're working on, you're a graphic artist, if you're an animator, if you're doing motion, if you're doing painting, if I click painting workspace, I'm going to end up, and of course mine is not organized because I moved it all around. I'm going to reset painting. You'll notice it shows up with paintbrushes and swatches and things like that. So you have all sorts of different options. Okay. With that, any questions? Everybody good with this? Hopefully. Nod your head if you can. Nod your head if you can hear me. All right. So then you've got down here, we've just got the other thing we have is tabs. So tabs, you'll notice I have tabs at the top of my screen. My files are organized into tabs like so. If I click on one, click on the other, click on the other. If you don't like tabs, you can tear them off and then they kind of float. And then you end up with like this jumble of windows kind of floating all over your screen. I actually kind of like to work myself with jumbles of windows, but most people prefer the tab view. So you can just kind of put everything and be organized like so. So you just kind of jump back and forth. And we'll be talking a lot about how to drag a photo from like one set of layers to the other. Like I can grab this and paste it into like this whole screen here like that and jump between my files. So that's totally something I can do as well. And let's see here. So one of the most important things to know about when working in Photoshop is how to get around your screen if you're editing photographs. So you'll notice this magnifying glass right here, and you'll notice a magnifying glass over here on the left on the toolbar. So the magnifying glass is going to let me like literally zoom into a picture. Spacebar on my keyboard is going to let me bring up this little hand icon and kind of move around so I can navigate. I can also use this control minus keyboard command. Control minus zooms out, control plus zooms in. So being able to navigate around. The other thing, if you're on some kind of touch device, you might want to have access to something called the navigator. To access a navigator, window menu and then navigator. It's going to bring up this tiny little navigator palette, which is very handy if you're on some kind of touch screen like a Surface or something like that. So that's going to let me kind of control, and this big mountain lets me zoom in, and then this little red box you can see is going to let me again kind of go around the screen and control where I'm at with stuff. So that's something else that's very important, how to navigate your screen. You want to get really used to the fact that if you press the space bar, it's going to let you move around, but you're only going to see that happen when you zoom in all the way, and then press the space bar, and then you'll notice you can kind of move around as you go. The other thing is you've got a view menu up at the top. View, you can see the keyboard command here. View, zoom in, view, zoom out, or the handiest one, view, fit on screen, and then view, fit layers on screen. You've also got these percentages, view 100, view print size, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of information buried here about navigating your screen. Very important for Photoshop users to know how to navigate.